Welcome to episode 32 of the Valley Sports Talk podcast. Today's episode will be a bit about NHL, but we're going to start off some big news out of the NFL. Tom Brady officially retired. Remember, we just talked about this last week, and we all thought he wasn't going to retire.
We all thought he was the quarterback of the Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Obviously, that's some big news. So, you guys have any thoughts, opinions on it?
Yeah, it sounds like big news with that enthusiasm you got.
Thanks.
Go off on him.
Guess the wife told him that was it. Had to have been the wife. Had to have been the wife. Must told him that's it. You're done.
No, yeah, he said he still wants to play, but he's got other commitments, so it's fair enough. I think everybody didn't like him because he just kept winning, but I mean, now that he's retired, I think we all want to see him back. But I think personally, this just opens the door for Jimmy G.
Really, it's also like an end of an era too, right? Like he's been in the NFL for 20 plus years, and then just all of a sudden just decides to retire, which we never thought that it. Like we gave it another year or two, maybe at the most, and now it's just gone. Like it's just weird. Like it's gonna look different next year, and that's just without Brady. It's just I don't know. Now we have nobody to make fun of anymore.
Well, think about the quarterbacks we've lost in the last couple of years. You got the Mannings, you got Brady, you got Big Ben,
Drew Brees,
soon to be Aaron Rodgers, probably.
I would include. I'd say that Tom Brady retiring at 44, kind of. I don't know. I think we kind of took him for granted. Maybe not these past couple of years. Maybe not last 2 years with Tampa, but I think when he was with the Patriots for those like last 5 years, everyone just it was just kind of like you were supposed to hate Brady, and I understand why. Like definitely people had that, but like I think we weren't even realizing is like we're also seeing one of the greatest careers ever, and we're definitely gonna miss it. You know what I mean? Like there's no
now that it's over.
There's no one else like that. There's no one. I think like he kind of has like a way of pissing people off, but obviously still making you want to watch him every single time he steps on the field. You know what I mean? Like there's kind of like this aggression to his game. There's not that many other guys out there right now that you kind of like really care enough to want to watch them but not like them. So yeah.
The fact that he almost came back from a 28-3 deficit in his last game just shows how much he still had left in the tank, and it kind of just sucks that he has to give it up now. Whenever.
Do you think if Antonio Brown played in that game, they'd win?
No.
No?
I don't think him making a difference him being out there would have made that much of a difference of them winning that game.
Yeah, their offense wasn't really the problem. It was more their defense. Like they put up enough points to win the game. They just allowed too many.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But you never know. I mean,
yeah. Speaking of new NFL things, we now have the newest team, the Washington Commanders.
What's their name?
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm sorry, that's terrible. Commander.
Well, that's what we wanted to talk about. So
that's why we're talking about Braden.
I know. It's just terrible. Sorry.
And their new logo is literally just like a W, like it's like a burgundy and yellow W.
I don't mind their jerseys, but
the jerseys are fine.
I like the jerseys.
Jerseys are fine. I don't understand the name. Like they had that much time and they come up with the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Just
doesn't make football team just sounded better.
Yeah, honestly, if you're going with Commanders, you might as well just stick with the Washington football team.
Yeah. Exactly. People were saying it sounds like a high school football team's name.
It really does.
Yeah, I could see that.
It does sound kind of like that.
Or like what was it? Like I don't know, like an AAU basketball team or something like that. Something like someone would make up like that. But yeah, it was not very nice. But I didn't like it either. I thought the jerseys were good, but that was it.
Yeah, the jerseys were pretty nice. Okay, moving out of NFL, we're going to talk a bit about the NHL. This weekend is the NHL All-Star Game. Unfortunately, the NHL has a rule where one player has to make it from every team. Do you guys like this rule? Do you think it should change?
I think it should change. I don't think it will change because the All-Star game is just an easy way to make money. And if you have somebody from each team, it gives fans from every fan base a reason to go watch. But personally, like, you got people like, for example, Brad Marchand not making the All-Star game, and you got players like Jordan Eberle, who has like 20 points this season, making it over him because one player from each team gets in. So
yeah, because who's there for Boston? Isn't it Spurgeon there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Pasternak doesn't get in either.
Yeah, that's where that one player, because they're trying to include everybody off, like at least every team into this, but also there are players better that do deserve like that all-star recommendation to play or participate in the activities for the All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I understand the motive behind it, like having one team, because like Brandon said, it gives every fan base a reason to watch the game, even though I'm not much of a fan of the All-Star game in the first place. I think it's kind of like just like a game of shinny.
It's a money grab, pretty much.
They're not trying it there. The NHL players don't want to get hurt. The only thing I really watch is the skills comp. And it should be interesting having the breakaway challenge back in this year. But yeah, I think there's the NHL's really like idea behind that is just getting as many people to watch, because Seattle, newest team in the league, and they have one player in the game, so you might as well go and watch Jordan Eberle rip up the All-Star game.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know if Max, if you have any last thoughts or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's not something that I'm like super passionate about changing. I do understand why the NHL does it, but at the same time, I didn't realize like Brad Marchand wasn't able to get in, because I do understand that like he's probably I don't know, maybe would you guys say top 10 player in the league, top 50?
Easy? Probably. He's been amazing.
Yeah, like he's been amazing, right? If he's not making the All-Star game and someone else making it, I don't care who you are. You gotta have Brad Marchand in your All-Star game. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely top level talent. If you switch that to any other league, because I mean, if you compare it to the NFL, though, it's not really fair because people are still in playoffs. You still have that happening, so some guys can't make it to the Pro Bowl. But for the most part, you're not just like taking one guy just because he's on the team. I think in the most part from the NFL and the NBA, you take who's the best. You know what I mean? Like, you take by position actually in the NBA, but it's at least more kind of like objective than just taking a guy from each team. So I think it's not a terrible way of doing it because you get it spaced out. And I remember when I was a kid, the Senators were actually pretty shit, and there's probably a couple guys on there that didn't deserve going. Like, whenever Ottawa had their own All-Star game, they had like 4 guys going. I think Mahalik was there or something stupid like that. Like Milan Mahalik.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Carlson was there, obviously. I don't know if Spencer was there at that time, but yeah, I understand from some perspectives, but if we're looking at it from who do we want on the ice, the best talent, it doesn't really make sense.
I think we also then made a list of 3 players we're happy to see in the All-Star game, and then 3 players that did make it that we would want to see there. I don't know who wants to start us off for that, but we.
My first player I'll just name them all so we can just zoom through it.
You want to do all 6, or do you want to do the first?
I'll just do all 3 first. My first guy is obviously. If we're talking about who are we happy to see there, I'm most happy to see Leafs players there. So I'm happy to see Jack Campbell make the All-Star game. At the start of the season, the first third of the season, he was probably the best goalie in the league. He's had a little slump recently, but it's good to see him in the All-Star game. My next is Adam Pelich, defenseman for the Islanders. Some might not know his name because he doesn't put up a lot of points, but he's one of the best defensive defensemen in the game. And just because he's a defensive defenseman, he doesn't really get the hype he deserves, but it's good to see him there. And then my third guy is Troy Terry. With all the hype on the Ducks being around Trevor Zegras, he's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, but he still has 25 goals, 41 points in 43 games. Which is an amazing season, obviously. So good to see him there as well.
Okay.
Wait, were we supposed to talk about our snubs as well, or just our
I'm just saying top 3 right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go next. My first player is Dylan Larkin. He's the one representative from the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit's having a sort of better season than they really should have. They're kind of hovering around 400 or 400, 500. In 42 games, Dylan Larkin has 23 goals, 21 assists for 42 points. He's actually a plus minus of 3. So having a positive plus minus on a team like Detroit is really good. Obviously, he's the captain. I'd say he's probably the best player on that team. And it's just nice to see him finally get some recognition because he's sort of been an underrated player, in my opinion, in the past years. My second player that I'm happy to see make it is Jordan Kyrou of the Blues. In 40 games, he's got 17 goals, 25 assists for 42 points, and a 6 plus minus. He's leading the Blues in points, and he's sort of having a breakout season. I know he had a good season last year, but this is sort of like the season where he's saying like, yeah, I'm the best player on my team. Like I'm gonna lead this team. And it's nice to see him because he's a Canadian player. And then my third is Timo Meyer from the Canucks. I think he's also been sort of underrated throughout his whole career. And then he had that one game a couple of weeks ago where he scored like 5 goals. So that's pretty. In 41 games, he's got 21 goals, 26 assists for 47 points. The Sharks were in the playoffs, but they've kind of fallen out now. But he's still putting up numbers on that team, and he's an unrestricted free agent this year, so he's going to get paid at the end of this year. So, yeah.
Brayden, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
You go. You go, Max.
So for my number one, I think it's kind of an obvious one. I wasn't necessarily taking underrated players, but just who I'd like to see, and they're also first-time All-Stars, is Karil Kappersoft. Is that how you pronounce his name, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, you got it.
I think he has 19 goals, 34 assists for 53 points in 40 games. Young guy, not that big, and he's ripping up. I'm a big fan of him. So he's my number one guy. And then my number two guy is Cale Maker for Avalanche. I mean, he's not doing just as well as Kadri, but you can make the argument that he's maybe the better player for the Avalanche overall. Good defenseman. And then my number three guy is just had him. Where's his name? Troy Terry for the Anaheim Ducks. He's 6th in the league for scoring, and no one really talks about him. He has 22 goals, I think. And I don't know much about him, but Noah, do you know much about Troy Terry? I know.
Yeah, he's a good pick. He's about 25. He's just like Brandon said, the hype's all about like
I picked him
Trevor.
as well. So.
Yeah, he's like Trevor Zegras.
He just got picked up. I think he just got picked up because someone just got injured. Who would that be?
No, I think Terry was the pick from Anaheim.
Yeah, no, Adam Fox was of the New York Rangers was injured, but he had an upper body injury, and he was replaced by or no, that was Evgeny Kuznetsov. Sorry.
I don't think he was replaced.
I think Terry was the pick from Anaheim.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I'm definitely happy to see Terry there because Anaheim's doing well. One thing about Kaprizov, he hit 100 points the other day, or 100 points in his career, and he did it faster than McDavid did.
Really?
Yeah. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Wow.
Something that should be thrown out there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Braden.
All right. For my three players that I like that I see there, I have Sebastian Aho would be one of them. The Canes are doing really well this year, and I find that I do like his how do you want to put it there? I kind of like his playing. I like his playing style. I don't know. Like they just seem to work together a lot, pretty good. And I do think that taking him is a good pick to do the All-Star. The other two are just like preference choice, just because I just like them as players themselves as well. Ottawa's representative is Brady Tkachuk, even though I do think that there is probably other players better.
It was Batherson until he got hurt.
Exactly. So. at least the captain will be representing at least my favorite team. But I do think Batherson is better than Tkachuk. Simple as that.
They play different. They're both valuable.
Yeah, but I like that. I like
Arundel.
I like him though. And then my last one would be Nick Suzuki, just because good old Canadian boy. And I know like there is better players on Montreal that should make it over him, but it's been hard with Montreal since they've been hurt or with COVID. So they haven't really had much to pick from. So it's not too, but I like to see that at least he's representing Montreal for Canada. So
a good list of players. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I like how we all had a lot of different people. There wasn't a whole lot of same choices there.
Similarity.
Yeah, that's good to see. Snubs might be a little more the same because there's some pretty obvious ones out there, in my opinion. My first one is obviously, and I think if you don't have this guy on your list, you're wrong, is Brad Marchand. 21 goals, 49 points, 38 games. That's a ridiculous pace, and for him to not make the All-Star game is ridiculous. My next one, speaking of being one of the best this season, is Igor Shesterkin, goalie for the New York Rangers. He has the best goals against average in the league right now at 1.99, and he's not in the All-Star game. And then my last one is Sidney Crosby. It's weird to have a All-Star game and not have like one of the top 3 players if not the top 1 player in the league in the game. If you're talking about a game bringing the best players in the league, Sidney Crosby should be there. So he's my
Brandon. I don't even have to talk. Me and you have this exact same 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I had I had Crosby too on my list. I had Crosby. I also had Ovechkin too.
He made it. He was just
there. He has.
It said on the roster thing. I must have read it wrong, saying that he didn't. I thought he didn't make it. Okay, so
he got COVID a couple days ago.
He's the cat. He was supposed to be the captain for the Metro.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that, so I'll take that back.
That's right.
No worries.
That debunks my whole other thing. And then I also had did McKinnon also make it too?
McKinnon made it.
He was a captain as well, I think.
He's hurt.
And he got hurt.
He broke his nose.
Okay. Well, wherever this list is, this list sucks, so I must have read it wrong.
Anyways, you have
replaced. Okay, now I see. Replace this. Okay, now I get it. Well, that debunks my whole thing. So you go ahead, Max. I got nothing.
Well, I also had I had Brad Marchand as well. Just the obvious reason that we were just talking earlier about it, how he's one of the most talented players in the league. And then I also had Sidney Crosby because, Sidney Crosby. I am shocked. Like, is he? I guess stats wise, he isn't having that good of a season though. Is he not?
His stats are great. It's just like again, it's hard to get 2 players on the same team. So
Pittsburgh already has 2 players in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and to get 3 is kind of ridiculous. Like,
but is Crosby better than one of those 2?
Yes. One of them's the goalie.
On the ice, yeah, but technically on paper, Gensel has better stats because he's played more games. Because Crosby missed like the first 15 games a season because he had wrist surgery and then he had COVID.
Oh, okay.
But then at the same time, Crosby's doing Crosby things. He's putting up like over a point per game,
right?
Pretty easily.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah,
because when I scrolled through the list, I didn't see Crosby's name, so that's why I was kind of like, I thought he was doing good this year. Like he was, like you're saying, doing Crosby things, and then he's not even.
Well, that's just the thing about getting somebody from each team in. Hard.
Yeah, and that's where you're saying that rule comes into play because like you're missing people like Crosby that do deserve to be there over, for example, fucking Brady Tkachuk. Like,
I was also gonna say a sneaky pick would be the young kid on Anaheim, Trevor Zegras.
Yeah,
yep. I thought he could have been in the All-Star game. It would have been nice to see him.
He is in the breakaway shootout. They brought him in just because he's got such silky hands. And he hits the Michigan every other game. So they brought him in just for the breakaway challenge. So I'm kind of excited to watch him do that.
Yeah. Where is he from? Is he from the States?
Yeah, he's from the States.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Interesting.
Those are good picks for sure.
Yeah, those are definitely some good picks for Braden here. Braden can't read a list.
Hey, watch it.
You know what? At least you didn't see Ovechkin's name on the list, so you put him on there. Okay, that's a little bit of a break.
Well, because like I said, I was reading the list and it said plus, and I'm just like, but it said COVID-19 protocol, so I'm like, okay, so he must not be playing then, obviously, or something. So
No, he's not playing. He's
no,
got
just need to get learnt.
He's got COVID, and the Penguins still can't beat him.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, moving on. Sorry, not moving in. We're gonna go through our Western Conference teams, and we're gonna give them a grade, a surprising player, and a disappointing player. So starting off, we have the Central Division. We have the Avalanche, who are 32-8-4 for 68 points. They're currently on a 9-0-1 last 10, so obviously they're good. I gave them an A. I said in the last time that me and Brandon graded, I don't give A pluses because I don't think every team's perfect. My surprising player is Nazem Kadri because he's leading that team in points. And like Brandon said earlier, he's 4th in the league in points. And my disappointing player is going to be Bowen Byram just because there's always so much hype around him, and he is having a lot of trouble staying healthy this year. Obviously, I'd like to see him do good because he's a Canadian kid. But just from being able to stay healthy doesn't really help whenever you're in your first year your first year of your career and you can't stay on the ice.
Sure.
I'll butt in here next. I put the Avalanche at a grade of A. Also, my surprise player was Nazem Kadri. He's played 41 games this year with 41 assists, so an assist every game pretty much, and with 19 goals, which I would never expect that out of Nazem Kadri.
Hey, now.
I'm not doubting the man. I'm just saying it's weird when I looked at the stat. I'm like, that can't be right. So, and then my disappointing player, which is not really disappointment, is Nathan McKinnon. But I think McKinnon spent some of this year injured, didn't he? Because he's only played 31 games. So
he got injured like a week ago.
Okay, I figured.
He got hit and then he was also injured earlier in the season.
Yeah, so I remember seeing that on sports highlights, but he's only got like 9 goals on the season with 34 assists. But I mean, when you're injured, you can't really do that much. So that's just my disappointing player, just off that. So I'm just leaving it at that.
You don't have to go back on your picks. They're good picks.
I know.
Personally, the Avalanche are the best team in the league, in my opinion. So I am going to give them an A+, and their recent play has been showing that. My surprising player is Nazem Kadri. I don't really have to explain myself for that one because Noah's already done that. And my disappointing player is going to be I don't even know if I can find one. This team's on such a roll recently. Everybody's kind of contributing with when you can play that good with your best player out. Players have to step up, and everyone has to play well to fill that role because one player can't fill the role of Nathan McKinnon. So I'm not going to give anyone a disappointing on this team.
Oh, okay.
So I had as my best player also Kadri, just because he's putting up 60 points, and I don't think anyone can argue with that. And I actually agreed with Braden on this a little bit. I think although McKinnon has been injured, you could still make the argument that he's never been really the number one player on this team for this year so far. He's definitely producing, but yeah, I honestly think I'd say if there was someone to not be doing what they should be doing, it'd be him. And obviously, health is health. That's tough, but if you're not available and you're not necessarily producing at the same level that you always are, you could say that you're on a downward trend. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
It's also kind of hard to say that Nathan McKinnon's on a downward trend. I don't even think he's 25 yet.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
He's definitely over 25.
He's 26.
McKinnon, yeah.
26.
27.
26.
Wow. 26. Okay.
Yeah, he's 26.
Moving on, we have the Nashville Predators. They are 28-14-4 for 60 points. I actually gave them an A because I can't say I've watched a single Predators game really all year. So to see them doing this well after kind of sort of being maybe a bit overrated last year, and barely making the playoffs. I gave them an A just because I think they're overachieving. For my surprising player, Matt Duchene, 41 points in 42 games, 21 goals, 20 assists. He's getting paid a lot, and I know he had a really bad year last year. Just to sort of see him bounce back, I think was sort of surprising for some people. And then for my disappointing player, I have the backup goalie, David Riddick. He's got a 3.05 goals against average with an 882 save percentage. Whenever you have a top 5 goalie like UC Saros, you want to give him a break. And he's only played in 7 games this season just because he's been so bad. But yeah, UC Saros is still playing amazing. I think we're seeing it a bit like with Pittsburgh, for example. Tristan Jarry's had a massive workload just because they haven't had a really good backup, and he's sort of starting to feel that tear, and he's sort of been on a bit of a iffy stretch. I don't know if Saros will do that just because I think he's that good of a goalie, but it definitely will happen come playoff time. So I think they kind of need Riddick to sort of step up and be that backup goalie because he was an all-star like 3 years ago with the Flames.
Yeah, I gave the Predators an A. Same pick as Noah, Matt Duchene. Obviously, they picked him up 2 years ago, maybe.
Yep.
I don't.
2 years ago.
No, it's only been a few years because he got traded there.
Last year, no, he signed there. Last year is his first year there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he's having the season this year that they were kind of hoping for last year. So it's kind of good. It's good to see Matt Duchene turn it around. I've never had anything bad to say about him. I think he's a good hockey player, so I'm happy to see him turn it around. My disappointing player is Eli Tolvinen. He's been a solid piece for them for a few years now, and just checking the stats, he's got 6 goals, 15 points in 43 games. For a team that's doing this well, you gotta wonder how much better they'd be doing if Eli Tolvinen took the next step. From previous. He was a pretty high pick. I'm
pretty sure he was high.
I can search it up right now, I think.
If Braden or Max want to go, well, Brandon search it up.
Yeah, I pretty much had the same as you.
30th overall, but still first round pick. I mean, first round pick's a first round pick, and he's had good seasons in the past.
Who's this? Sorry,
Yeah.
who are you talking?
Eli Tolvinen.
He's he's 22. He had a decent season last year, and I know they were looking for a jump this year, and he hasn't had that jump, and they're still playing well. So if he took that jump, they could be a scary team.
Yeah, I had the same as you, Noah. I had Matt Duchene as my surprising player. Also, I gave the Preds an A. No A+, but again, it was nice to see that we kind of all have Matt Duchene because I liked him when he played on Ottawa because he did pretty well for them. I remember when he did get traded though that he didn't really have the season that he was supposed to from just coming off all that hype. But it's nice to see that he's actually this year is going a lot better for him just by reading off the stats. And then with you're saying with David Riddick, I do and I do remember when he was a good goalie, but just by looking off this, it just seems like 3 wins, 2 losses, and only started in 7 games, and that's the thing where you have Saros, which has started in 38 games, so he's played every single game. What happens when he gets injured, and then that has to step up, right? Your players can only do so much too, so that's where you need that good goalie, like that brick wall, and I'll let the puck go in the net.
Yeah, and what Noah's saying also, Braden, is your backup goalie is there to not necessarily win you games. He's there to give you starting goaltender rest, which is what Noah was saying. I just think about Toronto, and when Freddie Anderson was a starting goalie, he played 65 games a season, then playoff time came, and he wasn't the same just because he never had a backup goalie, and that's what I feel like for UC Saros. I don't know how well he'll be able to play in the playoffs if he continues to play this amount of games, which is kind of what Noah was saying as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. In some way, that's what I'm saying. Where your goalie should be able, that backup goalie should be able to win you games, is when it's either your starting's injured or he's sitting. That's what you need from a backup goalie sometimes. So that's what I meant to put it as, like that. But anyways,
no, I wasn't saying you were wrong.
No. I'm not saying I'm wrong either. I'm just didn't explain it that well.
You did a very good job.
I agree with you guys with the backup goalie. Sorry, what was his name?
Dave Rittich.
Rittich.
I wasn't sure who I was going to put down for Nashville, considering they're doing pretty well. But I also had for not my I mean I know it said surprising and we want surprising, but I think that they obviously Duchesne's really helping them do well offensively, but I'm a really huge fan of Josi. Roman Josi, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Roman Josi.
Yeah.
Josi.
And
Whatever.
I mean, he's having a really good season as well, and I wouldn't want to not talk about him. Although Duchesne is surprising, I don't think they're gonna be where they would be if it wasn't for Josi. Just because I think he's their captain for one, right? Two, he's been there the longest, I think, on that whole roster. So he's probably making what Nashville's doing happen the most, I'd say, out of all the players. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'd even say that he's having a bounce back season. Because I know a lot of people are saying that they might look to trade him in the off season, and he comes out and does this. I don't think they're going to be thinking about trading him anytime soon.
I agree, exactly.
Moving on, we have the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild are 28-10-3 for 59 points. Like Max said, Kaprizov's having a great year. But my surprising player is actually me, Matt Zuccarello. In 35 games, he has 14 goals, 20 assists for 42 points. I was kind of shocked when I saw this because I've never really thought of Matt Zuccarello really as getting points. I've always thought of him as like a middle six sort of forward that can get you the odd goal, get you the odd assist, but I've always thought of him as more of a penalty killer. But I watched the game the other day whenever they retired Lundqvist's number and just the amount of stuff I saw him out on the ice, he's actually like a big difference maker on the ice, and I've just never seen him as that. I don't know if he just sort of became that whenever he moved to Minnesota, or if he's always been like that, and I'm just being a stupid hockey fan, but who knows. And then my disappointing player, it was kind of hard for me to find one, but I gave it to Jordan Greenway just because he was a first-round pick a couple years ago, and he only has 14 points in 34 games, and he just got a contract extension. I believe his wins against replacement is like 14, which isn't very high. Just sort of disappointing.
Okay, well, I'll go next. I gave the Stars a B-.
Wild, not Stars.
Sorry, I don't know why I thought green. I gave the Wild an A. I think personally Cam Talbot's played really well. He's 18, 8-2. He's got a 2.8 goals against, which isn't the greatest, but a .913 save percentage. It's a decent season, and especially from a guy like Cam Talbot, you'll take that from him all day. My disappointing player is Nick Bjugstad. Ever since he's left Florida, he just hasn't really worked out anywhere. He didn't really work out in Pittsburgh, as Noah would know. And then now he's come over to the Wild, and he has 5 points in 28 games. I mean, obviously that's not what the Wild wanted in him. And so many players on this team are playing really well. Like Noah said, we got Kaprizov, we got Zuccarello, and you kind of hoped you don't think Nick Bjugstad's going to put up that many points, but more than 5 in 28 for sure.
Yeah, like it's kind of actually, what has he got? 4 goals, 1 assist and 5 points.
And he was decent in Florida.
How long ago was that though?
Like 4 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
How long was he in Pittsburgh? Just the one?
I think like 1.5, and they traded him at the deadline. They traded him for Zucker, and Zucker's done an F all in Pittsburgh. So,
well, it seems like a fair trade then.
Yeah, really.
Okay, I'll just give up mine next. So I don't really have a disappointing player since I'm not it was kind of hard to pick on that. I did give the Wild an A, and my surprising player was actually Matt Zuccarello. Just like as Noah was saying, like where he's just mostly kind of just like get you the odd goal here and there. And I did ended up, I can't remember what game it was, but anyways, can't remember. Just by looking at the stats here, it's like with 35 games played with 14 goals and 28 assists, like, you know, the goals may not be showing it, but the assists are definitely helping, you know, well, it says help either way, right? So may as well get the A. I'm not sure. Anyways, Max, you go. Whatever.
Okay.
Just go, please.
So I had Kappersoft as my, not necessarily. I'm kind of just gearing towards picking the player that I think is giving the team the best shot right now, and I'd say that's Kappersoft. I think he has 53 points, 19 goals, 34 assists. I've already talked about this before, but pretty interesting talent. I really like watching him play. My disappointing player, I don't think maybe people aren't really expecting much out of him now, but is Jared Spurgeon. He's done really F all. He has only 2 goals and 9 assists in already 30 games. So I was
He's
kind
been
of
hurt a lot this year too.
Yeah, that's true. But not doing that great. Could be doing better. But yeah, that's my other player. So
Moving along, we have the St. Louis Blues. They're currently 26, 13, and 5 for 57 points. I already mentioned my surprising players, Jordan Kyrou, just sort of putting that team on the back and becoming the number 1 player. My disappointing is going to be Ryan O'Reilly. Just because he's played 40 games, he only has 29 points, and he's always been thought to be one of the top two-way centers. He's just really not doing it anymore. I don't know really what's been going on with him, but just unfortunate because he's a really good player.
Yeah, mine was the same as you. I had Jordan Kyrou, and then Ryan O'Reilly is mine. I gave the Blues a B+ on for my grading. But yeah, I see where, like, I remember Ryan O'Reilly being, you know, like, I heard about him a lot, like watching Sports Center when you hear about the Blues and all that. And then I haven't really heard much about him since. But just off this, he only has, with all the 40 games that he's played, he's got 10 goals, 19 points, with 29 points on the season. So, you know, like, I feel like the goal should be a little bit more higher, just by what I remember him as. But like I said, that was probably like a few years ago. Probably it was good.
O'Reilly, sorry.
Yeah,
O'Reilly was good.
Even if last year he was good, I don't know really. He's I wouldn't say he's bad. It's just
what would you say, average then?
I'd say he's above average.
I mean, even if his points aren't there, he's still one of the best defensive forwards in the league. So he's always going to have value.
Okay.
But his points aren't what it normally is. That's your number there. I also gave the Blues a B+. My surprising was also Jordan Kyrou, but since you guys have both said that, I kind of want to shine light on another person, Pavel Buchnevich. You were going to say that? Okay, I'll let you take that then.
Oh, you said it.
Okay, but you can explain why. I'll let you do that. I also had Jordan Kyrou, so I'll leave it at that. If you're going to say the other guy, then go ahead. My disappointing is Jordan Bennington, just because this team's 13 games over 5, has won 13 more games than they've lost, and their starting goaltenders 11, 9, and 4 with a 3.27 goals against average and a 9.01 save. So you'd obviously like to see those numbers a little bit improve. So go ahead, Maxie.
All right, so I gave the St. Louis Blues a B. I thought they were doing well, but they could be doing a little bit better. The disappointing player I'll say first is Ryan O'Reilly, just like Noah's. He's not doing that much. He could be doing better, and I think we all know of the name. He's kind of been around the league for a while, but at the same time, I think there's at some point where a player of, like, how old is he? He's in his 30s, right?
I'd say he's O'Reilly. I'd say he's in early 30s. I'd say he's like 31, 32.
Oh, really?
Right now.
So he could be a little bit. Yeah, so he's trending downwards, and it's too bad.
30.
30.
Yeah, that's 30. That's frustrating. And then
30 on the dot.
Surprising player was the Pavel Buchnevich. That's how to pronounce his name.
There you go.
And he is, I think, in his either his 6th or 7th season in the league.
He's young.
Yeah, he is young.
He's like 25, I think.
Yeah, 25, 26.
26.
And he's actually, he's having his best season yet. He's got 36 points in 38 games. Last year he had, or I think only had like 46 points in the full season. So he's trending upwards. He's a good left winger, and I haven't actually seen him play or anything like that. I just know that he's
just know that the Rangers gave up the Blues gave up nothing to get him this offseason.
Really, well, yeah, he's playing
it was like
great.
Sammy Blais in like a 5th round pick. It was a pretty brutal trade.
Yeah.
Okay, Max, sorry, were you done there? Can't cut you off. Okay, moving on. Next, we have the Stars. 23-18-2, 48 points. My grade to them was a C+. My surprising player was Hintz. I was going to give it to Joe Pavelski, but I feel like he's kind of been that player for a while. The reason I give it to Hintz is because he's leading the team in goals. He's got 20 goals, 17 assists, 37 points in 41 games. He's actually a 17 plus 17 for plus minus whenever some players like Tyler Seguin, John Klingberg, and Jamie Benn are all in the negatives, and Radulov. My disappointing, I gave it to 2 players. I gave it to Seguin and Radulov. Seguin has 23 points in 43 games, so he's 20 points under a point per game, and you've always really seen Seguin as sort of an elite player or close to elite player, and he's just really not cutting it. And then Radulov has 15 points in 37 games, so only 2 goals. Usually he's known as a goal scorer. He was a goal scorer when he played in Montreal, and he was a goal scorer the first couple of years he was in Dallas. I don't know what's going on there, but pretty disappointing.
For the Stars, I gave them a B, just a B. That's all that I got for that, and
that's all that I got.
That's all I got for that. And I didn't really have a surprising player, but I did have a disappointing player, which was Tyler Seguin, because I remember I know Seguin hasn't really been putting up the numbers this year, and that's not like him as much. Like he's just looks like above average out of 43 games that he played. He's only got the 14 goals with 9 points, which I think there should be more there coming from him. So that's why I put him as my disappointing player.
I also had him as my disappointing player, so I'm not going to talk about it. I gave the Stars a B-, as I said a couple minutes earlier when we were talking about the Wild. My surprising player is Jason Robertson. He's pretty young. He's fun to watch in the couple Stars games that I've watched. And he's got 41 points in 35 games on an average team. So he's my surprising player.
Well, I gave the Dallas Stars a C+.
Where did you go?
I plugged my phone in.
Okay. We only got we only got two more teams to talk. 3 more teams to talk after this. We're gonna cut it off after the Central.
I figured.
Okay, so
we can do the
how about for next week podcast? We save the last division there.
How about you let me talk?
How about you be quiet? Daddy's talking here, okay?
Braden, Max says seniority over you. He was an original member. You were an add-on.
Yeah. It's fair.
Ouch, boys. Okay, I see how it is. So I'm like a piece of garbage to you is what it is, eh?
No, you just wear your hat backwards like a loser.
Max, I will come to deeper. I'll fight you right now.
He's in Hamilton, it looks like. Is he? Oh, no, he's not. He's in deep. Never mind.
This is not Hamilton.
I was going to say that's not Hamilton.
I leave tomorrow. Anyways, back to my...
Go ahead. You can talk about the Stars, Max.
Yeah, go ahead, Max. Sorry.
Everyone wants to know my opinion on hockey.
The
Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars, I gave them a C+ because they're pretty shitty and they're not doing anything. And I feel like this is pretty typical of the Dallas Stars. I feel like they're a team that everyone wants to like, but they're just always shitting the bed. Their disappointing player, I'll start off with first, is Tyler Seguin. Not much to say. Not a huge fan of the guy. I mean, sometimes I am, but I don't know. Not
a huge fan of him, but sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he's okay, but for the most part, he's a dick. Kind of like Braden.
Ouch.
Braden, why don't you fight Tyler Seguin? Anyways, my surprising player is Joe Pavelski. I mean, I was shocked that I saw that he had 48 points already. I mean, where the hell is that coming from? I don't know. He's 37 years old. I wasn't expecting Joe Pavelski to still be doing that well. I've never been a fan of the guy, but now that he's 37 years old and still playing that well, kind of nice to see. So yeah.
You're not a fan of anyone, eh?
Only Brandon.
Thank you. I'm a fan of you too.
Yeah.
Shocker.
The last 3 teams in this division are pretty crap, so personally, I'm gonna go through them quickly. The Jets, I gave them a C+. They should be doing so much better. They got a really good team. I don't know why it's not working. My surprising guy is Pierre-Luc Dubois. He was drafted really high, supposed to be better than he was, and he's starting to show it this year. 33 points in 42 games isn't bad on a team that's not very good. Disappointing is Conor Hellebuyck. I know you can't blame it all on the goalie, but he's a reigning Vezina winner. He's in the conversation most years, and he's 14, 15, and 8 this year, 2.9 goals against, 9-10 percentage. You want to see more of Vezina goalie.
For me, it was really hard to find a surprising player on this team because I kind of feel like they're just all underperforming. I ended up giving it to their backup goalie, Eric Comrie. In the 8 games he's played, he has a 2.34 goals against and a 920 save percentage. That's sort of like the backup you want whenever your star goalie like Hellebuyck needs a break, even though Hellebuyck hasn't been playing very good. So I feel like this Comrie guy should maybe play a bit more than him, not more than him, but a bit more games to give Hellebuyck sort of a bit of a break. Obviously, the Jets doesn't look like they're going to be doing much this year. Even if they get into the playoffs, which it's looking very unlikely that they do. I think they should sort of just chill out and maybe try it again next year because they do have, like Brandon said, they have a good team, so it's kind of weird why it's not working. And then my disappointing player is going to be Nikolai Ehlers. Last year, he had that sort of breakout season where he was above a point per game. I think he had the most points on the Jets. And then this year, in 34 games, he only has 25 points. So it's kind of like he kind of took a step back, which is kind of unfortunate because, like I said, he took a big breakout last year. But this whole Jets team's just kind of been, you never know what's going to happen with them this year. They've been so up and down.
For what I gave the Jets also a C+. My surprising player was actually, well, it's not really surprising, but I find him as one of my favorite players on the team is Kyle Connors. With out of 42 games he played this season, he's got 25 goals and 20 assists, he is the top person or the top scorer on the team right now. Also the one that's got the highest points at 45, which, I mean, it's no surprise, but I find him one of the best players on the Jets. And then my disappointing player would probably have to be Blake Wheeler, actually, because Blake Wheeler, I find, should be a lot better than what he's putting up right now. Unless he spent probably most of this year injured because he only played 28 games. And out of those 28 games, there's only 2 goals with 18 assists and 20 points. Like, I feel like the goal should be a little bit higher for the man. I remember he used to be like one of the top players on the Jets, and now he's kind of just taking a step down, which he's starting to trend a little bit towards the bottom, which I don't think is the right thing in that case for him, especially the fact that remember him used to being so good. So I'm leaving it at that.
All right, so I had Connor as well. I think 25 goals, 20 assists. No one else on the team's really doing that well. That's like really standing out in my opinion. But for their disappointing player, I also had Ehlers. I thought that if you look at his numbers last year, it doesn't really represent what he's doing this year. Although he's not doing that terrible, he still has 25 points in 34 games. It's not nearly the same as last year, so yeah, it's too bad.
Moving on to the Blackhawks, I gave them a D+. I gave them the plus because they do have a lot of flashy players on their team, and they're still kind of fun to watch. Surprising, there's nobody. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Patty Kane, 42 points, 42 games on a team where only one regular is in the pluses. He's not the one, but with only one player in the pluses, in the plus minus department, they're getting scored on way more than they're scoring, and he still is a point a game player. So he's my surprising. And then his counterpart is my disappointing, Jonathan Toews. 43 games this season, 4 goals, 19 points to show for it. It seems like there's a lot of old captains that are starting to fall, like we've talked about, Jamie Benn, Blake Wheeler, and now Jonathan Toews, players that used to be good when we were younger. And they're starting to fall off a little bit, but Jonathan Toews, you'd hope to see a little more than that for sure.
Yeah, I also I put the Blackhawks at a D plus, just because, like, as you're saying, like, there's so many of those flashy players, and it's just happening for them this year. Really, what?
You froze for like 10 seconds.
Brayden, get your shit together.
Oh, dude, you need me to
We heard that you gave them a D plus, and you said they have flashy players.
Oh, okay. Well, I said I would, even though they have the flashy players, I would, like, they should be doing, I find they should be doing a lot better with those players that we, like I said, grew up that were good. Like, for instance, like, my disappointing player was also Jonathan Toews. Out of 43 games he's played this season, only 4 goals and 15 assists with 19 points, which is a stat that shouldn't even be a thing for him. Like, well, maybe now that it should be. And I don't really have a surprising player. Maybe I'll just throw it out there. Maybe Alex, what is his name? What is it? Yeah, that's it.
No, you're kind of right, Braden. They don't have anyone surprising. Like,
no, it's just none of them really. It's just none of them really stick out. You know, like, no. I mean, like, Toews and Kane, but like, Kane's is the top. He's the guy that's got the most points out of everybody on the team right now, and it's just kind of coming from, and especially Jonathan Toews, that should be at least like a top 3 player on that team, but it's just not. He's just not showing it.
Yeah,
So, you know what? I kind of have the same. I just noticed throughout this whole thing, I've kind of said like the same like thing. Like, as soon as I'm done talking, I'm like, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And you write that down.
I say all the time.
We'll put that on a t-shirt, Braden.
Yeah, you should put that on a t-shirt.
I don't have a surprising player. Obviously, I gave him.
I don't think any of us have a surprising player. I don't.
It's just sort of been a crappy team, and it kind of sucks. Yeah. Like, my disappointing player is Toews. It sucks saying that because, like, even before he 2 years ago, I would still have considered him a top 40 player in the league, and now I don't even consider him a top 200 player in the league.
Nope.
It also sucks to watch the last couple of years of Marc-Andre Fleury sort of rot out there. I hope he gets moved at the deadline. Anybody but the Capitals, but we'll see. And then Max, was I the last one to go there?
Go ahead. Like, that was it. I didn't have much to say. I had Toews. I didn't have a surprising player. Same thing.
No, the Blackhawks are a weird team because I know, like, the timeline of all of us kind of starting.
We should get Will Muir on the show and ask him what he thinks.
Well,
that would be a good.
Weird though, when we all started watching hockey, the Blackhawks were really good, and all these players were top players in the league. So it's.
Well, geez, didn't they win like 2 Stanley Cups like almost back to back? Because I think they won, then the Kings won, and then they won again.
They won like 3 and 5 years, I think, or 3 and 6 years.
Yeah, exactly. With that, which they had most of those same players. Well, at least Toews and Kane, but
it's just kind of
it's just not working for them right now. So something's not right.
It's sort of like the same. It's sort of like the same thing that's happening in NFL. Like, the new generation or the old generation that we grew up watching is sort of starting to slow down and retire.
Yeah,
exactly.
He'll never slow down.
Yeah, I really want to get to this quiz. I think it's going to be fun.
We'll talk really quickly about the Coyotes because there's not much to talk about with them.
If someone doesn't have them at an F, it's kind of crazy. They're one of the worst franchises in history, especially this year. My disappointing is you could really name anybody and it wouldn't be wrong. Some guy I wanted to give a shout out is Shane Gostisbehere. Throughout his career, he's been about a 40-point guy on defense. But this year, he's got 28 points in 45 games on a terrible Arizona team, and especially him being on defense, that 28 points is pretty impressive. So
he's always been sort of an offensive defenseman. So
yeah,
he'll always put you up the point. So man, he's obviously in Philly. He manned that number 1 power play unit. So I'm gonna take a wild guess that he's manning this unit. Probably Chikrin's out there too.
I would hope so.
My disappointing player is actually going to be Chychrun and Phil Kessel. Chychrun only has 10 points, and he's been sort of named as like an elite defenseman, one that everybody's eyes will be on coming to the trade deadline to see if he'll get moved. And then Phil Kessel, he's always been known to score goals, and he's got 5 goals in 45 games. So,
yikes!
Another name that might be on the move. Max, Braden, you guys have any last comments on the Coyotes before we
No, they're shit.
I just gave them a D, and I didn't have a surprising player. The only disappointing player I had was Phil Kessel.
I can't believe you ranked him that high. You gave him a D. Surprising.
It's just a D. It's a D, or I didn't know if we were going F or not. I could have gave them an F, but I'll just give them I put D as like my lowest ranking, just like
Stop listening.
So unfortunately, we all are in school. We all have class. We do kind of got to wrap it up. But the day we are actually recording today on Friday, the day it's coming out, and that marks the start of the Olympics. So we wanted to put a little Olympic segment in there. So our quiz is all about Olympics.
Just think about this.
It's hard to start.
If COVID wasn't a thing, we'd be seeing Crosby and McDavid team up right now.
That would be so cool. I'm so upset NHL players
aren't
in it.
I want to, saying this as a Crosby fan, I want to say that Crosby will make it as a 38-year-old. I wouldn't be shocked if he does for the next Olympics.
Yeah, we'll see.
At the same time, he's not going to be at 38. Even if he does, he's not going to be the same player he is right now.
No, you can never tell the future. But I
think he'll still have the talent, though. The speed and stuff may not be there, but the talent's still there, and that's what I think that counts the most. So
honestly, you guys are all going to get the first question, and the next 4 are so hard that I'll probably just give closest to gets a point. So yeah, let's get it going. Quick shout out to the Olympics.
What are the standings, please?
I have not lost. I'm 8-0.
I have 0 wins.
I'm not lying. I actually haven't lost.
Max has won more than me, but I've won a few.
We'll start a standings after this. We'll restart.
Everyone's 0-0.
Everyone's 0-0. Braden, the slate is clean.
First right now.
I'm probably like 10. I'm like 0-10 right now.
Okay, so again, we all have classes, so try and answer these as quick as possible. They're hard, so just give out a guess. First one, the easiest one. Who scored the golden goal, and who was it against?
Oh well, I
won. Points or just one?
Well, just give one. You got to get both.
Yeah, I already know both the answers.
You should know. Anyways, Maxie, you got it.
No,
you get an assist for the assist. Who got the assist on the goal?
Everyone knows it. Braden, you know this, right?
I think so.
Okay, let's go. Braden, you start. You go. Go,
Braden.
Okay, and this is just any Olympics, right?
No, it's the golden.
You don't know what the golden goal is?
Go.
I don't know. I'm gonna probably say it was probably Crosby. I'm guessing.
Okay, who was it against?
I don't know. I'm gonna say.
Are you talking team or player, Brandon?
Yes, it was Russia. No, fuck.
I don't know.
Hey, you don't know if he's right or wrong. Case gets to sit against Russia. Max.
Sidney Crosby, United States.
Noah.
Sidney Crosby against Ryan Miller, the United States, assisted by Jerome McGinley.
Yeah,
Braden, you should know this stuff.
What the fuck?
I was gonna guess America, man, but you know what? I was just like, I don't think that's it.
Let's just pick the wrong answer.
Braden, do you know what Olympics it was at?
Braden should have -1 for saying what Olympic. It's the golden goal, Braden.
This is why you're 0-10.
Yeah, I don't watch the Olympics.
It doesn't matter. It's a Canadian thing.
Hey, at least I got the player right. At least give me that.
All of Canada was watching that goal. You were probably like staring at a tree.
Wasn't that the 2010 Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he came down the left side and scored.
Yeah, because that was in grade 7. We watched the game like during like class time.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you didn't get that
one. Yes, I do. Yeah, I got the team wrong, but I got the player right. So at least give me that.
Question
Fucking-
number 2.
So-
The 2022's Winter Olympics is the blank Olympics. So I'm looking for a number. This is the what? Like, for example, I'm not going to give the right answer. This is the 10th Winter Olympics. I'm looking for a number.
Repeat the question.
How many Winter Olympics has there been? Like, which Winter Olympics is this all time? I'm just looking for a guess. The Olympics is hard.
Can you tell us?
Closest to gets the answer, because it'd be pretty cool if one of you got it straight on, but I doubt it. Just think the Winter Olympics runs every 4 years.
When did the Olympics start?
Well, that would be something good to know. That would give you the answer pretty
technically
quick.
they started in the before BD or before whatever the fuck it is. I don't
But
remember.
those were all summer games. Like they did,
Okay, I think
like.
But
did, like,
since they've actually
Ray,
been
Ray,
counting.
if you don't know the answer to this, you're failing.
What do we have a number range? Like, do we have to be within 5 to get point?
No, closest to gets it.
Okay.
Okay, Bray, what's the answer?
Well, if it's been before Christ, I'm gonna go. I don't know. Let's say.
Take into consideration.
I'm just gonna put 100. I'm gonna do 104.
104?
I don't know.
It goes every 4 years, Brady. Okay, Max.
I don't know math. I don't know math.
What the fuck?
Go ahead, Max.
Okay. Winter Olympics. I'm gonna say 28.
Okay.
So they've only been counting them since like the 1600s. I actually have a class about socio-sports, and we literally learned about this like the first day. I'm gonna say 25.
Holy shit! The answer is 24.
Oh.
Wow, that's a great guess. Good job, Noah. I almost want to give Max the point because he was so close as well. But
Give Max the point. He was within 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
I thought there was
Rating
a lot
negative.
more
Rating
than
is
that.
negative like 50 for that.
Rating's
Rating's at
negative
104.
He didn't know.
Then what's the point of me playing at this point?
104.
Wait, was it supposed to be closest to that it gets the answer?
For the next ones, it is. Considering this one was such a wide range, I'll give you a point because you were within 4. That's pretty good.
Okay.
This one is going to be closest to though, for sure.
Okay.
Where does Canada rank in all-time medals at the Winter Olympics? So I'm not looking for how many medals. I'm just looking for country rank. And this is just Winter Olympics, obviously.
Yeah.
Maxie thinks he has it.
I think.
Well, I don't think I have it. I just think I know where my guess is. I know where it is.
I know the range that I'm guessing in, but I don't.
Yeah,
know
you guys should be. You guys all should be relatively close. I would hope. Bray, do you have a thought yet?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, let's hear yours. You're on a roll recently.
4.
4? Okay. Maxie?
Him.
Number 1?
No, him. Like Noah's above me. We're going to Noah.
Okay.
You're above me on my screen, buddy.
Max, you're above me on mine.
Where's Noah?
Brayden, you said 4?
Noah's
I said 4.
I'll go 5.
Okay. Maxie?
I'll go 6.
The correct answer is 5th.
Wow.
No.
What was that? 3? Noah's killing the quiz.
Do you know the 4 countries ahead of them?
Yes.
What are they?
I can't tell you because the next question is who ranks 1 in
Winter Olympics. Okay.
medal.
Okay. I actually know this.
I don't.
I guarantee you I know this.
Should I help the boys out? Should I help the boys out?
Can you at least throw me a bone? Throw me a bone.
Here, I'll help you boys out. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Canada's in 5th. Soviet Union's in 4th. Germany's in 3rd. The States are in 2nd. Who's number 1?
I got it.
Maybe.
Think about countries that have a lot of snow.
Yeah, I think I got mine. I think.
Maxie, you got an answer?
Oh, I always had the answer. I always knew.
Okay, I'd like to hear you go first, then, sir.
No.
I'm the quiz master. I rule. You go first.
No, Max, you go first.
Let's hear your answer. Yeah, you
I
tell him,
don't
Brady.
know it at all. I have no idea. I still don't.
Take a
Guess
guess.
then.
Take a guess. Take a guess of a country that's got snow.
China.
Okay, go, Braden.
China?
You didn't say. I was gonna say Russia, but did you say that Russia was in fourth?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can say Soviet.
Oh, then.
Oh, Japan.
Switzerland, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Probably not.
I believe it's Norway.
Noah is killing this
Yeah.
quiz. It is Norway.
Who the hell's gonna guess Norway? Why is Norway number
They're
one?
good at all the slow. They're good at all the ski sports and stuff.
Norway has 368 total Winter Olympic medals.
Fuck
And-
Norway, bro.
Just for
Okay.
example, the States are in second and they only have 305. And then Germany's in third and they only have 340. So
I was gonna say-
Norway's killing it.
Norway goes nuts in the Winter Olympics.
Norway is killing it. Okay, this one is one I feel like you guys can get some points at, actually. Because I'm only looking for one answer. And Braden, this is for you to get a single point on the quiz. You have 0 right now. There are 7 countries that have participated in the Olympics, in the Winter Olympics, that have never gotten a gold medal. Can you name one of them? One singular one.
Oh, fuck.
Come on, Brayton, I'm rooting for you. I want you to get a point in this quiz.
I don't know.
Just 1 point.
We'll see here.
Wait, repeat the question.
In the history of the Winter Olympics, there are 7 countries to not win a gold medal. Can you name one of those countries? You boys got this.
How am I supposed to know that?
Out of the 7, there are 5 pretty well-known countries.
I'm throwing out a prayer in the wind here.
Hey, that's
Same.
what you gotta do.
I'm literally just thinking of countries that suck at Olympics.
Exactly.
If we all get one of the 7, do we all get a point?
Yep.
So Braden could get his first point of the video.
Yeah, that's what I've been banking on here. I want Brady to get a point.
I got an
think
answer.
I don't know. I'm
I
gonna go. I don't know. I'll throw one out there, maybe.
Okay, throw one out there, Bray.
UK, whatever that genre is
United
there.
Kingdom.
United Kingdom genre? What the fuck?
Okay, Bray's guess is the UK. Maxie?
No, I'm not going. He's going
Okay.
first.
Okay, fine. I'll give it to you.
He's going first.
I'm gonna say Mexico. 'Cause I know they go to the Winter Olympics, but I don't know if they've ever won a gold medal.
Okay.
Shit. I think I know this for some reason, but I'm gonna say Iceland.
Jesus Christ, you guys are all wrong.
What?
Yeah, this is not fun.
No, I swear Iceland's not gotten a gold medal.
You're telling me Mexico's won a gold medal at the Winter Olympics?
I don't even see Mexico on this list, so maybe you might be right actually.
What are the 7 you have?
Oh god, this is actually wrong. This is my bad.
No,
I have Latvia not winning gold. I have Yugoslavia not
Yeah,
winning
because I was
gold.
gonna guess that.
Luxembourg not winning gold. New Zealand. And then the 3 that I'm unsure about. Actually, I know Romania hasn't won one, but the 2 that are on here that I'm not sure about is it says that Denmark and North Korea have both not won a gold medal.
Iceland hasn't won gold, I'm pretty sure.
Well, you might be right. Is Iceland? Iceland isn't on this list.
Has Iceland ever won a Winter Olympic gold?
Anyways, guys,
I hope they have. Just you're wrong.
I gotta get off right now because I gotta go to class. I got class in 10 minutes.
Okay, well,
Iceland
Wait
has been-
2 minutes, Bray.
What do
Wait
you
2
have to
minutes.
say? What do you have to say to the viewers watching, who just watched you not get a single point in the quiz?
Write that down.
Do you have an apology for them or?
Yeah, why the fuck did you fuck up?
I don't know because I did.
Okay,
So
now leave.
new quiz standings. Noah's got 1 win.
Wait, we didn't figure out.
Iceland has never won a gold medal.
See,
Okay, so you're at 3 then, Max, but Noah's still at 4. So either way,
is that the last question?
that was the last question.
Oh, damn.
Noah went 4 for 5, which is a lot better. Braden's gone. See ya. Braden's gone.
Oh, jeez. Okay, Brandon, we got class in 10 minutes, so I got to end this.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, we do.
See you guys.
If you enjoyed, leave a like, check out our Instagram, our TikTok, and we'll
Okay,
be
I'm
back
leaving.
next week.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya.